stepping up not only for William, but for the club. Ladies and gentlemen, you have an evaluation form here yourself, okay? These are very valuable. Please take the time to provide your own personal evaluation for these fine speakers this morning. Okay, I will introduce our second speaker. He's our very own beer aficionado, currently serving as our treasurer. He's been a Winter Park Toastmasters for several years. The title of his speech is, "You Gotta Know When to Throw Them, because you can't always hold them." Please welcome Toastmaster Brandon Moore.
Good morning, Toastmasters. How are you today? Right on, right on. All right, guys. We're going to get started, but I hope you all are forgiving people because I'm about to sing. You gotta know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, and know when to run. These lyrics from this classic country song by Kenny Rogers played in my head for probably the first 10 years of my life. And it's a song about a ride with an experienced gambler that Kenny Rogers took. He wrote it in 1978, and that song offers some great advice. But it leaves out one thing, because you can't hold your cards forever. You got to know when to throw them. But that can be scary, right? Because you don't know what anybody else has in the room. And that's essentially what the song is about. I got some good advice on this issue from an experienced Toastmaster. A few months back, Toastmaster Roy Shear, the man whose name rhymes with beer, threw a pile of ties into the center of this room. Does anybody remember that? Yeah. And I grabbed this one with the cards on it. And if you're a poker player, you know that a jack, a 10, a queen, a king, and an ace is a royal flush. An extremely rare and unbeatable hand. When you have this hand in your hand, there is no doubt you are going to win that round. So a couple weeks ago, I called Roy to let him know I was going to do a speech about this tie. I quickly found out that he had COVID. Now, some may say that's a pretty bad hand to be dealt, but Roy was more chipper than most on any given day. He said, "I get released tomorrow, and then I'm off to Colorado on Friday. And after that, I'm going to see my kids in California." I thought, man, this guy just got over COVID, and he's jet-setting to go see his kids. Now that's something. I was impressed. He got dealt a potentially dangerous hand. I said, "Well, I didn't call to check on your health, though I am happy to hear you survived COVID. I'm doing a speech on the tie you gave me." "Oh yeah? My tie?" he replied. I said, "Yeah." He said, "You called to tell me that?" I said, "Yeah. I'm on the same card as you, so you better come up with something good if you plan to win another trophy." And he said, "I don't remember the last time I won a trophy, but I've got some old dirty underwear with holes in it, and I might do a speech on that." And I laughed out loud too. No cap, I laughed out loud. So what is this tie all about? What makes it worthy of a speech? Well, it reminds me of something much deeper and much more important that I have learned here at Toastmasters. In poker and in life, we are dealt a hand. Sometimes you get a great hand, an unbeatable hand like a royal flush. Now, sometimes not so much. To the point some say it's just luck. But a real poker player knows it's not the hand you are dealt, it's how you play it. Let's take Roy, for example. He was born in Washington State. His father was a superintendent at a lumber mill. His mom a school teacher. Now, that's not such a bad hand, right? Nobody would say that's a bad hand. But he was born with an affliction. His face was only half as handsome as mine. But when he looks in the mirror, he sees Tom Selleck. And he's as amiable as my evaluator, Sean Essler. So he just went from a 5, a 2, and a 6 in a game of Texas Hold'em to 2 aces and a king. Just like that. And because of that, he went on to have a successful career. So much so that he traveled abroad to Germany. He ran a tennis school for many years. Now, I don't know what hand he was holding at that time, but it sounds like a risk. But it was a risk he had to take. And to think, what would have happened if he hadn't played that hand? There'd be a lot less people in Germany with a great backhand. And today, Roy is a pillar of this club. Raise your hand if you've never laughed at Roy. Or leaned on Roy for a laugh. In life, there are times we must persevere and act confidently, even when we're unsure of the outcome. The key is to understand that how we play our cards affects the world around us. And though we may be holding a low hand, we play it like it's the best in the game. I will never forget the day Carmelo asked me to pick up Roy from his home in Altamont Springs. I said, of course. Roy was sitting out front when I got there. "Let's go, my boy," he said as he sprang into my truck. Roy was waiting when I got there, like I said. He inquired about my life. I said, "My career is going okay, but I should be doing more." "Like what?" he said. And that's the key moment, because he could have held those cards. No, I had to answer, because that was like the dealer saying, "Throw your cards." I have a royal flush inside my mind, and you got to let that out sometimes. But not with just anyone. You got to know when to throw them. You can't say, hey, dealer, no, I don't like these cards. Can I send them back?" So I shared my hand with Roy. I was expecting negativity. You know, life patterning. But instead, he said with a roar of confidence, "Sounds like a grand idea, my boy." At that moment, I was holding a royal flush. That rare, unbeatable hand. Now let's talk about risk. In poker and in life, every hand and every day is risk. But how much are we willing to throw on the table to pursue our dreams? We can't just hold our own hands forever walking around trying to meet people. "Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Tasha. So good to meet you." It would be weird. So let me go back to the song, and I'll spare you guys another round of my singing. All right? So essentially it's about holding your hand and waiting to play it, because you don't know what other people in the room might have. But we can't go through life holding our hand. We can't run, and we can't walk away. We can't live our lives like that, because we are the ones that know when we have a royal flush. Thank you, Roy, for the tie, and thank you, Toastmasters.